Hey everybody, Steve Prziborowski here. Welcome to 101 Tips to Ace Your Next Promotional Exam. I'm going to cover tip number 2 here. So if you haven't had a chance to check out tip number 1, please check that on my YouTube channel. My goal throughout this series is to try to cover each of the 101 tips from my latest fire engineering book that is recently published. If you haven't had a chance to check out the 14 or so videos that I did based on my previous book, How to Excel at Fire Department Promotional Exams, check those out as well too, because I think they have valuable information that can also help you be the best that you can be on your next promotional exam. More importantly, the best that you can be in the position you're in, and more importantly, that one you want to be in. Always prepare for that position above, as I say. So let's get going. As a reminder, my website, code3firetraining.com, has lots of great free information on there to help anyone of any rank in any part of the country or the world actually be the best they can be, not just now, but in the future. Also, some great information to share with others to help them be the best they can be. Sorry. You're going to hear me talk about that a lot as I talk about this tip, as I'll get into right now. So, as a reminder, my book, 101 Tips to Ace Your Promotional Exam, has just been published and released by fireengineeringbooks.com for the month of January 2021. You may be watching this after January 2021, but if you watch this in January 2021, they're offering free shipping. So that'll save you maybe $3-4. But, you know, if you're watching this February 2021 or beyond, I don't think they'll have the free shipping. They do that every so often throughout the year. But anyway, what I do have to offer is also a 25% off code, 101 tips. If you use that code, I don't know how long that is good for. So if you're watching this maybe in July of 2021 or maybe in 2022 or 2023, who knows when, hey, try the tip, try the code. It may work. And if it doesn't work, reach out to me, but I don't know what to tell you. They're the publisher. I'm fortunate and honored to be on board with Fire Engineering Books and Videos, but that's it. You can find it off my website as well, code3firetraining.com. So as I shared, these tips are based upon my latest book. So let's get into tip number 2. It's as simple as this. When you go back and listen to tip number 1, my first tip was pretty much career development is a journey, not a destination. Tip number 2 is going to build upon that, which, as I mentioned in the first video, not all the tips are not meant to be sequential, like tip 1 is the most important and 101 is the least important. There is no rhyme or reason, I guess, of how I group them. So that said, before you enter a promotional process and before you actually do the position that you want, I think it's critical to know your why. Because if you don't know your why, how are you going to convey your why to not just the oral board members, but really more importantly, those that you're going to lead and serve? So if you want to be a company officer, yeah, you're going to probably get asked questions during the oral board of, tell us how you prepared yourself. Tell us why you want to be a company officer or whatever position. Tell us, blah, blah, blah. They're going to get into your head and into your heart about why you want the position you're applying for. So you got to have a good, sincere reason. But now a step forward of, you got promoted, but now you have to perform. As a leader, as a supervisor, yeah, you've got rules to follow and enforce. I get all that stuff. But as a leader, you got to have vision and you got to be able to have your why and be able to articulate your why. I always share with people, it's, if you don't know yourself, how are others going to follow you, or let alone know you, or even have any confidence in you or your leadership ability? So, I always share with people some of my passions. As long as I've been in the fire service, I always like to share with people, it's like I really have a passion for helping people get hired and then helping people stay hired. I also really have a passion for helping people get promoted, but also stay promoted, and then ultimately be the best they can be. And then really, in the end game, enjoy a nice, healthy, safe, happy retirement with their family, friends, and loved ones. Now, when I go back to saying getting promoted is one thing or getting hired is one thing, but staying hired and staying promoted, why I say the stay part is because there's a lot of people that get hired and get promoted that screw it up royally and sometimes get fired or demoted back to their previous rank or suspended. So it's not just you got the position, you got to keep the position and do it darn well, because all eyes are on you. So that's my passion. So that's why when I talk about not just promotional preparation stuff, but I talk about professional development, leadership related topics that I'm fortunate to go around the country sharing and discussing ideas on. you know, a lot of it is us being in charge of our own destiny, but we have to be able to know our why to convey to others. So um, when I was a little kid, like many others, I'm looking over at my bookshelf right now. I should have grabbed it. For any of you that has kids, you probably had a Dr. Seuss book or two in the house. Now, this Dr. Seuss, my book about me, I don't even know the date this darn thing was print. Oh, 1969. I was 3 years old. But this my book about me. When I look inside there, there's a section in there, and I think the book probably hasn't changed much, but there's a section in this book that basically says, "Hey, Steve, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And you know, you see my little face right there. I laugh about it, but what did Steve want to be at 3 years old? Steve wanted to be a fireman. That was one option. Steve wanted to be a baseball player. Another option. Steve wanted to be maybe a rock star. Yeah, even at a young age, I loved, as I have my Tesla, a band from Sacramento, California, a couple hours away that I've loved since the early 80s, hard rock, heavy metal, love of mine of music. But anyway, I've always enjoyed music. I was raised in a household that was really supportive of music, sports, as well as public safety. You know, my dad used to be in law enforcement, but he was encouraging me, yeah, that's a good career, but stick with fire, kid. That's where I should have gone. You know, he was one of those guys, and I'm glad he pointed me in that direction. Not to say I wouldn't have been happy in law enforcement, but just such a challenging career as it is. But anyway, yeah, I look back at, you look at that book and it's, what do you want to be, Steve? Fireman, baseball player, or musician? Well, it's funny, as time goes by, thankfully, um, I've been in the fire service about 30 years. You know, I've enjoyed sports since I was a little kid. I still enjoy playing baseball when I can. I still enjoy going to live sporting events when possible. I still enjoy family, friends, and I enjoy live music when the pandemic is over, to go back to live music. But anyway, know your why. Now, before I get a little bit more into that, within this book, it's not just about me talking about my experiences, my suggestions for getting promoted. I am very fortunate to have leaned upon a bunch of friends of mine, men, women, friends, brothers, sisters, mentors, leaders of all ranks, fire chiefs down to firefighter, from all types of departments all around the country. So within this book, you're going to see a lot of um, words of wisdom or voices of experience. There's about 40 different individuals that wrote each of these stories, along with Paul Combs, who does the artwork for Fire Engineering Magazine throughout the book, which really spices it up a little bit. But I've got a bunch of voices of experience. So I talk about, for example, tip number 2, my why, about why it's important to know your why. But I also have some friends of mine share their experiences. Some of the friends, you may or may not have heard of their names. If you're on social media, most of these people are very active on social media. And if you're not connected with them, the usual social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, search these people out, because these are good people to have as role models and mentors. And amazingly, people that you may not even know, but if you connect with them, reach out to them respectfully, professionally, they'll get back to you most of the time. You know, I'd be surprised if they didn't. But these are the individuals that helped me out. Captain Mark Davidson from Fairfax County, Virginia, great dude, good, solid individual that just is a fan of professional development. He practices what he preaches. Good buddy of mine, Sean Egan from Buffalo, New York Fire Department. He's a captain on a ladder company, a really good, solid dude who does a lot of good truck training. He wrote a piece on there as well, too. And then Fire Chief Dennis Rubin, who used to be fire chief in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia. He's been fire chief for a number of years. Now he's up in Pennsylvania, just north of Philadelphia. I'm, throughout this book, trying to have fire chiefs write their perspective on viewpoints of what they're looking for in candidates, just like I'm having captains and chiefs, as you'll see in future tips, write about what they're looking for in future firefighters, future captains, future chiefs, or what they're looking for in bosses that supervise them. So it's a good 360 evaluation. As I reached out to these individuals and I asked them, hey, would you please share some of your feedback, share some of your words of wisdom? What are you looking for, or what advice would you give to other people? So that's one of the benefits, is, like I said, 40 different people offering voices of experience throughout the book. So as I shared earlier, my why: fire service, family, friends. My wife and I have been married 20 years, 21 years, I think it is. Don't have any kids. We're very happy in the position that we're in. She works in the fire service as well. Very fortunate for that. But, you know, it's not all about the fire department. I love the fire department. I'm fortunate to work in the fire department, have a career in the fire service, but it's not my life. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but when anything overwhelms you and takes over your life, that's when sometimes the family or the friends can suffer. And here's the thing, when you retire at some point, you'll have to, just because of timing or age or whatever your system is, you're hoping your family and friends are still there till the day you die. Sadly, so they don't take the health, wellness, balance seriously, and they end up focusing so much in the fire department that they tend to forget their friends and their family. And when they retire, guess what? They're left without them, and it sucks. And then we wonder why we have such a high substance abuse problem or behavioral health problem or suicide rate as it is. So balance is key there. So like I said, I'm fortunate to have a lot of different friends. I'm involved with a lot of different things. I love it. I love live music when I get a chance, hanging out with the band Night Ranger here when they played at the Alameda County Fairgrounds in Pleasanton, just up the road here. You know, it's balance. I enjoy wearing my PPE. I enjoy helping our firefighters out, doing my job as a deputy chief, but I also enjoy fun time off by going to sporting events, hanging out with friends and family. So that's the goal. Know your why and be able to share that passionately, enthusiastically with others, because the higher up you go in the ranks, the more you're in the spotlight and the more you need to be a leader and demonstrate that, and knowing your why is where it starts with. So that said, if you don't know yourself, especially your why, then how do you expect to be a leader or even demonstrate that you have leadership potential? Because again, when you're maybe in front of that oral board, you're demonstrating that you have the potential, and you have to convince those individuals that you have what it takes to not just do the job, but do the job darn well and be good at it and be low maintenance and be someone that maybe has the potential to go even farther in the department. So that said, know your why. Now, more importantly, how do you expect to get others to follow you? Because again, if you want to be a leader, you have to have followers. You can't be well, let me leave it this way. It all starts with personal leadership. You have to be a leader of one before you can be a leader of any. But you got to be a good leader of yourself, meaning doing the right thing, leading by example, talking the talk, walking the walk. But you also have to make sure you take care of others, because if you don't have any followers, you may not be a leader, even though your title says that or your rank says that. So know what you can share about yourself, so others will actually follow you. So that said, as always, thank you very much for the gift of your time. My contact information, social media footprint, feel free to reach out. Until the next time, be safe, keep doing the right thing, and keep focusing on the future to do the right thing, whatever that means, whatever the situation. All right, until the next time, y'all be safe, y'all take care, and don't hesitate to reach out if it can be of assistance. Take care.